keeping the cost per acquisition around $50 is really good, I think, in relation to these services and what these guys charge. Hey guys, it's Ryan from the PPC Cave, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today I'm going to show you inside an account, a live account of one of my clients. Really great group of guys. They have a great business model. They're in the polyaspartic, the epoxy flooring coatings kind of niche, resin stuff. Really, really great group of guys. Great business. They're based out in Michigan. They also have, like, I think, areas in Florida as well and things like that. But I've had these guys now for just over 3 months, and the campaigns are doing really well, performing really well, quite dialed in all honesty. So yeah, I'm just going to be jumping into the account with you guys, show you what I've been working on. We're specifically going to look at last month's. We're going to look at last month's data, so the last 30 days in June, and yeah, we can take a look and see the results. So if I just move myself down there out the way. And we can see here that we're running 4 different campaigns. So we've got the brand campaign, we've got a performance max campaign, we've got a Florida search campaign, and we've got a Michigan search campaign as well. So just to give you guys a little bit of a backstory then. So when I took this client over, they were running these 3 campaigns here. They were running this one, this one, and the brand campaign. And the problem is that there was a lot of crossover happening, specifically in this Michigan campaign. There was a lot of different ad groups with the same keywords in. So there was keyword cannibalization happening, where basically what that means is, the client is advertising against themselves. They're bidding on the same keyword in 2 different ad groups. So Google gets a little bit confused. It doesn't know which keyword to show for which search term and things like that. So you're basically increasing your average CPCs. Is never really a good thing. So there was a lot of cleanup work that was needed to be done inside this account to get it where it needed to be. So I went through and I paused a lot of ad groups. I paused a lot of keywords that were crossing over, but also ones that were just simply not converting. There was a lot of keywords with high spend and maybe one or no conversion. So I really wanted to reduce that wasted ad spend down as much as possible and focus the budget towards what's working so we can scale performance up. Like I said, it's been just over 3 months now, and each and every month has been better than the last. So much so, we had a conversation. I had a conversation with the client, and they were happy to increase the budget because they saw it was working really well. So that's the main thing, really trying to scale performance up and push more budget into what's working. A few other things were, I changed a lot of the keywords from broad match originally over to phrase and exact, because when I took this account on, I really wanted to ensure that quality. They'd been running on broad match for so long, and a lot of the searches that were coming through were competitor based. They were just low quality, informational based keywords and searches that were just never really going to convert. So I came in and wanted to change that strategy from broad match over to phrase and exact match. And over time, adding more negative keywords and cleaning up that search term traffic, we've started to get more higher quality leads and results coming in. As you can see here, just looking at the last 30 days, impressions from an account overall 42,000 impressions, 2,673 clicks. We just spent just over $5,000 there. You can see just under 6, if you like. The budget is kind of spread not so evenly, maybe evenly between these 3 campaigns, but the Michigan one in particular is where they get the majority of their business from. Florida, as far as I'm aware, last time I spoke to the client, they want to gradually increase their awareness in Florida. So it's not at the forefront of their concerns right now. However, they want a little bit of awareness. They want a little bit of reach in Florida. So that is really the test campaign at the moment. That's where I'm putting a lot of my time, a lot of my effort in to basically optimize this campaign, because so far it's not really going the way I want it. I'll be honest, is that Sometimes with Google Ads, you'll have 2 or 3 campaigns that are working really well. And then you might have one campaign where it just needs that extra little bit of love and attention, a little bit more optimization and care needed to get it where it needs to be. So it's never 100% across the board. I mean, sometimes it can be, sometimes it can be worse. But for this account, is what I'm saying is, we've got 3 campaigns that are dialed in, but we've got one campaign that I'm really taking my time with and focusing a lot of my energy on. As you can see, the others are kind of taking care of themselves. But, I'm still going in, I'm looking at ways where we can increase that budget, increase the keyword level bids and, look at the secondary level bidding stuff. This campaign in particular, when I took it over, I switched over to a manual CPC, and then, it wasn't really working for a while, so then I thought, well, let me try target maximize conversions, and then all of a sudden we were back where we needed to be. We were converting really well, and if not better than before. So this just shows that it's an ongoing process, where I'm always inside the account looking at things that I can change, but not just making changes for change's sake, reading and analyzing the data towards what's working. And that's my whole ethos, when it comes to managing accounts, when it comes to optimizing the data that I'm seeing in front of me. My first and main thought process is, where can we reduce the budget and scale the budget towards what's working? So I always say, scale what's working, funnel the budget towards what's working, take it away from what isn't working. So you want to minimize any wasted ad spend so that you've got more advertising budget potentially to work with, so that you can push it towards the keywords, towards the search terms, towards everything else that's working. That's what I love to do. And yeah, looking at last 30 days then, in June, you can see here, like I said, 42,000 impressions, 2,000 clicks, 5 grand spent, just over $2.15 in average CPC, click through rate, 6%. Not too bad. There's a little bit of room that needs to be done here to get that to about 12. So I'm looking to work on that as well. Different ad copy and keyword relevancy and things like that. So hopefully over time, that's going to increase. Conversions over the last 30 days, 126. Really, really pleased with that. The client is really pleased with that as well. 9 phone calls as well tracked. $45 cost per acquisition, which is really good considering when you take into account these are like big projects, where it's like people having their flooring of their garage or their basement re kind of floored and things like that. So these are big projects. It's not just like a cheap kind of product that we're selling or anything like that. Keeping the cost per acquisition around $50 is really good, I think, in relation to these services and what these guys charge. So yeah, I'm trying to drive that down even further. Ideally for me, I want to get that down to about $10 more, so $35. If we can kind of hit around that $35 mark, I think that'll naturally be a better cost per conversion. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Conversion rate, as you can see, is working well, but I think really the Florida campaign and that Performance Max campaign are bringing down that average. As you can see, it's a 4.66 conversion rate, which is not bad, but it could be better. But I think that's skewed because with the Florida campaign, I'm putting a lot more effort into that one. It's still early days in that campaign yet, whereas the Performance Max is always going to be a little bit of a lower conversion rate. And that's just because, you're not just advertising on one platform. We're advertising on Gmail, we're advertising on search, we're advertising on display, on YouTube, on discovery. All these different elements and platforms make up Performance Max. Now, when you think about it, search campaigns, because somebody has searched for that like keyword, that service, naturally the conversion rate and the click-through rate is going to be much higher because it serves their purpose, it serves what they're looking for. Whereas if they see an ad on display or if they see an ad in Gmail, it might not convert as well because you're advertising to somebody who hasn't necessarily gone out of their way to look for that product or service. So the conversion rate is always going to be much lower because it advertises across different platforms, if that makes sense, that are not as engaged as search. But still, At the moment, I'm really liking Performance Max for lead generation, and that's just because of that reach, of that awareness to get that brand name out there. So yeah, I'm really liking Performance Max, especially in the lead generation niche. But yeah, over the last 30 days, results have been really, really good. Client is really happy, which is the main thing, and to get that many leads and that conversions in the last 30 days, we're really happy with that. For that price as well, it's really, really been good. Taking a look at the ad groups, then, if we just look in the main one, because there's a lot to look at here, but if we look at the Michigan one, we can see how I've segmented these ad groups. So epoxy, industrial flooring, commercial floor coating, basement epoxy coating company, Polyaspartic. The idea behind this was to try and take the angle of approach of cover all the different services that these guys have to offer, but at the same time have that awareness, have that visibility across all the different services. So keeping the ad groups really nicely themed across the campaign. And what was really good is that the client went in with this with a really good budget already in place, so that it was easy to create more ad groups that were focused, that were super targeted towards the different services that these guys do. So that made it a lot easier because, as you know, if you've got a $10 a day budget, a $20 a day budget, you're always a little bit limited in terms of reach, in terms of how many ad groups you can create, how many keywords you can have per ad group, because you don't want to stretch that budget too thin. You want to make sure that you've got enough budget there that it can go around the houses, that it can test the different ad groups, test the different keywords to see, okay, which are the keywords that are performing really well. You want to give as much budget to all the keywords as possible, and give it a fair chance, basically, to run and optimize. So that's kind of the ad group structure, and it's the same for the Florida ad group as well. There might just be a couple of different ad groups included there as well, but for the most part, the most structure, the bones of the operation, if you like, is the same in the Florida one as well. But if we take a look at some of the keywords, let me just see here, and we can take a look at some of these. Now, if we take a look at our conversion column over the last 30 days, and we can start to see which keywords are really dialed in. So we've got epoxy floor, we've got a couple of broad match, polyaspartic flooring cost, commercial epoxy flooring cost, things like that are really driving those conversions, which is really, really good. And then from that, you look at the search terms report and you see, okay, well, these are the searches that are driving these conversions as well. But for the most part, when I took over the account, that's really what I did. I had a look at what these guys were getting originally in the search terms report, added the ones that were converting really well as keywords so that we can scale performance up, so that we can actively optimize and target for those keywords rather than just kind of leaving them in the search terms report. Let's add them into the campaign, add them into the ad groups, and tell Google we want to go after these keywords because they're giving us a really good return, want to scale performance up. So that's what a lot of my thought process was when I took this campaign on, when I took this account on, sorry. And over time, like I said, month after month, the results have been getting better and better, really. So, going forward, I don't want to make this video too long because I want to just make it a really nice, quick, where am I? Sort of case study, but for the most part, where I'm at the moment is it's that Florida campaign for me, this search campaign. Last month we got a few conversions coming through. The cost per conversion is just out of this world, just under $300. So I think I've reduced the budget in this one, and pushed it into the Michigan campaign for the time being. As you can see, I'm on a manual. You know how I feel about manual bidding. I love manual. It gives me the most amount of control over the campaign, the individual keyword level bids, all aspects of the campaign. So I do love using manual. But time is running out. If it doesn't really perform, if I don't really see that cost per conversion coming down, then I'm probably going to look to see what I can do. Maybe one more month on manual. In all honesty, if I can reduce that cost per acquisition down, then great. That's the main goal going forward. If not, then I'm going to look at changing bidding strategies and see if that has an impact. Switching over from manual to maximize conversions and see what impact that has going forward, and manage the campaign from that approach. But like I said, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm gonna leave it there actually. But if you guys are a lead generation business or even e-commerce, me and Gene, we both do. Well, I do lead generation and e-commerce. I believe Gene just does e-commerce for now, but I think he's dipping his toe in the water, so to speak, in lead generation. But if you're a lead generation business, if you're a service based business watching this, and if you're interested in seeing similar results to these guys, then just get in touch. Feel free to email us at the ppccave at gmail.com, or leave us a message on this video as well. We'll get back to you. But yeah, I'll leave it at that for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you guys soon.